I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal it all if you're patient and soon it can all be worth it, all the searching. Pain is never really permanent, but damn it hurts, man. I could feel all of the turbulence and it's concerning. I've been searching for a purpose, I hope it's worth it. This society is really trying me. Ain't no hide and seek, I hide to be far from anxiety. I need my space, I need my privacy. I need some silence, please, you're all too loud. You don't speak quietly, opinions violently thrown across every surface. It makes me nervous, is the world honestly burning? That's all I'm learning. Hope that we can make a turn and start reversing all our minds and put the work in. We got some work, man. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through. Gotta get through this, life is a nuisance, tie up some loose ends. I try to be human, find a solution, my evolution. A place like this, it didn't exist, we made it like this. So you can go pick the bad or the good, got a glass half wish. I know, it's easier to hide than just to lay low. Not everyone in life has got a halo. I'm standing in the red inside a payphone, just wanna break, no. I'm not gonna give in, take a last shot, Michael J. Win. No, I'm not a robot, I'm in my own skin. Never get lost when thoughts pull you in. I miss the old you, we died with a purpose. All the energy around me felt nervous, scared I would pop out fast to the surface. Had to cut it off before you made me worthless. Torn apart, I've been torn and scarred. I had a given art, but now I'm thinking smart. I'm keeping up my guard, I'm hiding every card. A royal flush of bluff, you never know what's hard. With a back to the mat, gonna see where I'm at. I'ma fight like I'm mad, I'ma be something that they can never be me. Nice try, but they'll see I achieve everything while they stay salty. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through.
What is going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode. My name is TradeFly, bringing you some of the most important market news as well as technical analysis that you can actually use. We're going to change it up. We are not doing any clickbait titles today. We are just going to call this the Daily Degen, and that might be the recurring theme from here on out. We'll see. We'll see how you guys take to the click-through rate. You know, YouTube, how that is. Sometimes you got to play that game. But that being said, hey, all trade setups, no BS. That's the way we're going to roll here. I'm going to say what's up to the homies in the chat. We got all set. How you doing? Good to see you. We got my dude, Rashad. What is up to you, man? Good to see you in the chat as well. And you know what? We got to have a special shout out today. May the 4th be with you. All right. That's about as nerd as I'm going to get. But I know a lot of you Star Wars, fans out there love putting it out there today. So it's actually funny. When I first moved to this town that I'm in, there was one day, like, I'm driving and I'm like, what is going on? Like, this, they don't do Comic-Con here, but they had like a little, like a little march, little get together. Everybody was dressed up. They were doing the old Star Wars thing. And I was like, what is this? And I kept saying, may the 4th be with you. And I was like, all right, let me look into this. I was like, all right, Star Wars, man. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. That being said, man, Crypto looking spicy. Bitcoin over $80,000 right now. We did put a video out about that probably about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, talking about, hey, is it 80K next? Sure enough it is. But now we are at a critical level, and it's kind of that moment of like, what are we gonna do, right? We had our 72 to 74K. We had that line drawn in the sand. You know, resistance. We finally broke through. We got through it. Now it's like we're at that new level, and we got a couple things to look at. So please stay tuned. I'm going to show you some levels of liquidity, why you could see a potential rejection, where you could see a bounce, and you know what to do and how to play that game. This is the important part that you're going to get when you watch this show. Is I'm giving you the sauce, I'm giving you the game plan, and I'm not setting you up for any kind of weird trades or, you know, just all top down. You know, sometimes that doesn't really help much. I know that a lot of people kind of keep everything kind of behind the curtains a little bit. You know, they don't really give you the sauce. That's the benefit of watching the show. I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to drive you anywhere. You don't have to go to X. You don't have to go to Discord. Watch the show for about 45 minutes, and you'll probably pick up what you need to know in terms of my personal analysis. All right. That being said, let's get this party started. First thing we're going to do is look at the crypto bubbles. We got Sky AI. I'm telling you, AI is just, it is just everywhere all the time. But Sky AI up 61.1%, Dash is up 24.5%, Ondo at 11.5%. I love seeing that. Yes, I did ladder into a position on Ondo as the market had pulled back. I was laddering into Ondo, so love to see that. Let's see, is that Luna Classic? Is that what? Terra Luna Classic, yeah. Oh, man. 18.6%, that's wild. And then, of course, we have World Liberty Financial, which has been in the news quite a bit recently with Justin Sun. So, anyways, you do have some big movers. Let's see what's going in the wrong direction. Meme Core down 8.3%. And I don't even know what this is. Buildon. Okay. You know, you guys are probably gonna laugh at me, but no, I'm not super spun up on this one. That's down 7%. Knights down 4.9%. Don't like to see that. Let's go over to the total market cap, sitting at 2.65 trillion. That's up 1.67%. Fear and Greed Index 48 neutral. Altcoin season 37 out of 100. Don't read too much into that. I just like reading it. Bitcoin currently at 80,270. That is up 2% over the last 24 hours. Ethereum at 2365, up 1.51%. And Bitcoin dominance is at 60.6%. I believe that is up since the last time we spoke. So that's why you're probably seeing a little bit of the tighter that parallel. Again, that might change. The more we stay up here in this range above 72 to 74K, the more we stay. Like if Bitcoin begins to consolidate in this range, that will be good for the altcoins, and you will likely see a little bit more of a rotation. Now, again, understand it's going to be that altcoin whack-a-mole thing. You always hear me talk about it, where different altcoins are going to pop on different days. Today, Ondo, right? So that's what you're going to have to kind of look forward to. But sitting over 72 to 74K, I think is very important, right? Because we were in a very defined, a very established range. We were trading that range, and now we have broke above that range, and we're staying put. We're staying put above that range. That is good, all right? To develop a new range above the range you were in for so long is okay and a good thing, and a change of character, which is a very important technical aspect, all right? If you want to see this continuation, if you want to see Bitcoin continue to move to the upside, if you're not in a short, then that's likely what you want to see. We're looking okay right now. We're looking okay. However, there is some liquidity that we want to take a look at on both sides, and we will get there. But first, we're going to get over to probably your guys' one of your favorite segments, I believe, is the Daily Degen. All right, let's go ahead and do it. So if you're new here, the way this works, the Daily Degen, I give you guys, the audience, the opportunity to vote on whether we go long or short. I take $5 of mostly my own money. Sometimes 2Bit gives me a little bit of change on the side, but let's see. Do we have any bonuses? Let's see. Maybe. No bonus available right now. Okay, that's fine. We will use real money then. That is okay. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put 5 on it. We gotta play the little audio clip there. We got 5 on it. All right, so we're gonna put 5 on it right now. Let's see what you guys got. It looks like Doom, 67%. 6 votes are in. Let's go ahead and do it for the homies. Let's swing big today. It's $5. Let's have some fun. 50x. This could blow up in our face real quick, but that's okay. We're sending it. That is why it is the Daily Degen. No, I don't trade like this, okay? Just understand, this is not typically how I trade, but we're gonna have a little fun, right? It's for the audience. It's for the chat. Oh, ching ching, it's in. It has been opened. Let's go. All right, don't let me down. What is it? Let's see here. That's where we're at. Let's put we'll put a stop loss just above here. All good. Cool. We'll put a TP down here. Yep, that's a logical area. Cool. So we're just gonna set it and forget it, man. Set it and forget it. I'm gonna bring that down just a little bit. There we go. Make it close to a 1-to-1. Not ideal, but that's all right. We don't do any TA on this, all right? It's all for funsies. We just let it ride. See how it plays out throughout the show. Let's go ahead and get into the things that matter. And I'm actually excited. I get to bring somebody back right now that you guys haven't seen for a while. And there's been a lot of things going on in the news, yet I haven't had the opportunity to bring this guy back. All right, so without further ado, I gotta bring him up. Here we go. All right, I drug it out a little bit. I'm sorry, I had to. My man Elmer Fudd is back. Let's go. All right, so crude oil rises 7% to $120 following the Iranian attack on the UAE. Big news out there, all right? Big news out there, especially for gas prices, man. It has been crazy how much gas has gone up. Sometimes I am a little thankful that I have a Tesla because, and I have solar too, so double whammy for me, all right? I get to use the sun to charge my car. Yeah, when I'm not going anywhere, my wife needs to go anywhere, she just takes a Tesla, man. She just takes a Tesla because it's banana land out there. It was looking good. It was looking good for a while. And then this whole Iran thing kicked off and poof, be gone. Prices go up, and away. All right, let's go ahead and look at the liquidation heat map. I did promise you guys that. So here we go. Looking at about 80,000, we'll call it 900 for government work, all the way on up to 81.5. I want you to take note of that, okay? Take note of that, 81.5 down to about 80,900 or so, okay? Mental note, do that. Then we have about 77.9 to the bottom side. The trend right now is up, okay? So what's obviously the alligator closest to the boat? It's this liquidity right here. And you can see this ascending level of support under the price action. I think it's a real threat for that liquidity to the top side. Let's talk about it. So let's go over to the charts. What could be a logical move of the price action? Okay, again, this is if you're a 9 to 5 kind of person and you're trying to get ahead of the price action, well, let's see where the liquidity is. Do we have anything in terms of horizontal levels? Oh, so we do. All right, this was the last pit stop before you saw an impulse move to the downside. Okay, take note of that. That's important. So we have a pretty prominent level in terms of a horizontal level. And then you also have liquidity sitting at 80,900. Two things that are good to know. Now, let's go ahead and bring in our order flow. Well, where do we have passive orders on the books right now? We got a pretty substantial order, we'll say, at about 81,000. What'd I say? Take note of that area. So you have three things lining up right now. You have a horizontal level, just a technical, all right? You have liquidity, all right? And when I talk about liquidity, I'm talking about stop losses. I'm talking about leverage positions that will get liquidated. And now we also have liquidity in terms of passive orders. Okay, so that's all aligning roughly in the same area. What does that mean to me? Well, that means to me is that you could get a reaction to that level. And this is where we start. This is our starting point. If you're just trying to play the game in the middle here, you're scalping, and you better have a different system than what I'm talking about right now on this show. Now, scalping, intraday stuff, we can talk about that in the Discords. But when I'm looking at a key level that is tradable, my starting point is going to be where the liquidity is. All right, so you guys will hear me. Know the liquidity, or you are the liquidity. Now, think about this. I'm not saying it's going to go up. However, I want you to take note of this. A lot of people, what they will do, if they enter the short here, what are they going to do? They're going to put their stop loss above that wick, right? Somewhere close above that wick. 81,000 is only within 300 of your high right there. It's actually less than that. It's about 230. Okay, so $230 spread between the wick and where the passive orders are already sitting on the books. So I think they kind of know where the liquidation levels are sitting. Why not be part of, hey, my entry is your stop loss? Why not be part of that? Okay, so that's what I think is kind of going on in that level right now. Something we want to monitor, okay? Something we want to monitor is if we come down to the open interest and the CVD and see what that's doing. Open interest right now, kind of going horizontal. CVD actually is starting on the 1 minute. So don't get too excited. On the 1 minute, starting to go down just a bit, okay? Starting to work its way down. Now, that ultimately could just drive the price down from here. That is very much on the table. However, that being said, if it does not, right? If you see a push up in price action, let's talk about that. All right, we can see CVD just ever so slightly starting to trend down. Cool, that means shorts are more aggressive. But if we see the price action push up and then it hits these passive orders and people get liquidated, right? That the incentive to drive the market in that direction is probably a lot less. All right, it's a lot less because when you start looking at the liquidation heat map, what do you see up here? This is Star Wars up here, all right? Up in space. All the action down here, space up here. There ain't much more reason to start driving the price through that area. Okay, now I'm not saying it can't, but you will be looking for this. All right, you will be looking for a pretty prominent wick out of that area. Okay, so this is what you'll be looking for. Now, again, not saying that's what's happening, but these are the things you will be looking for as we interact with that area. And this is how you set yourself up for a potential trade. I'll say how I set myself up for a potential trade. So I get a push up into that region that we're talking about, right around 80,900, 81K. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and as you can see, I have an alert. So I'm going to get an alert if price action pushes up there, and I'm like, ooh, let's take a look. Let's see what's happening. Do we have some selling pressure come in? Is open interest, what is it? How's it reacting? Okay, likely you're going to see open interest kind of start to move down initially, but I would love to see CVD, a continuation in trend for CVD, which means I want to see it continue to work its way down. Telling me that shorts are more aggressive while price is pushing up. What is that? That is divergence. Okay, so if I get a divergence between price action and CVD, that's a nice little like, hey, bro, pay attention. There might be a short in play here. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I mean, my first, inclination in terms of looking for a potential trade setup right now is going to be price action to push up and look for a short. Okay, so that is what I'm going to look for. Now, understanding this, and this is why I say you have to kind of balance it. I won't balance it, but you got to check other things. You can't just blindly put a limit order there. Okay, I want to say that I'm not saying to blindly put a limit order, because what you could get as we continue to hit our heads on that level, what you could get is a pop through the zone, right? An impulse move through. And that you're going to see a big body candle, and you're going to see the continuation of price action. And in that case, what does that mean? All right. Likely, if you see that, you're likely to see CBD push up and open interest push up and confluence with the price action. All right. So you'll see a parallel, kind of a trifecta of those three things pushing up. That's going to be your sign that the short is invalid. Okay. So you invalidate one thing, but what does that do? That opens up the door for potential breakout, retest, continuation. And then that's what I would look. So this is how I find the liquidity. I draw my line in the sand. You'll hear me say this all the time. I draw a line in the sand. This works for anything, by the way, right? Like it's not just Bitcoin. This works for all coins. I would say use Bitcoin as a North Star just to see if it's going to be a driving factor, but it works for TradeFly as well. Like you can trade this concept can be traded on different assets. Okay, so anyways, if you're looking for that impulse move through, then you're saying, okay, short's out. That's invalidated. Then we're looking for continuation. Now, let's say it plays out though. Let's say that you get a rejection from that level. All right, you get the wick. All right, cool. I like that. And then, where's a logical area to retest? Now, yes, you could argue here where you do have a little bit of volume, top of the range. Very much with that. But that's not for me. And why is that not for me? Well, let's look at it in a little bit more detail, and I will kind of explain why that's not for me. There's not much there in terms of confluence. There's a little bit, but there's not much there. I would prefer to find the area that has way more confluence. And when I say that, you have the moving averages working their way up, which has obviously been support. For a long time, since the beginning of April 7th. Okay, it's just been riding this average up. Now, it had a momentary little blip on the radar there, but we've continued to move its way up, and it has mostly been support. So, not saying it can't go a little bit below. Yes, it can. However, that being said, it's mostly been support. It's a moving average. It's not perfect. Okay, so if you're expecting perfect wicks off of a moving average, you might be new to trading. So, that being said, you have the moving average. You have a lot of volume. This is your high volume node of this current, what I'm looking at right now. But from April all the way through right now, this is your highest volume area. Also happens to be in conjunction with what? Liquidity. All right, we talked about that. Let's go back to the liquidation heat map. Boom. There's your liquidity. It does not have to take all of it either. All right, understand, it can just dip its toes in there and take maybe the hottest spot on the map. It can take like the majority. It may not have to take all of it. Okay, so that's when you start going back and forth and you're like, all right, well, what's happening now with open interest, CBD? You want to see, CBD starting to work its way up. You're likely to see as price works, because understanding we're in an uptrend, very, very important aspect to this too. We are in an uptrend, right? We can all agree on that. If you disagree on that, you might be talking about the macro, and even then you've had a change of character, but here nor there. So let's say you start coming down to this level and you see open interest going down. And I want to talk you through that aspect of it, because that's actually pretty normal. And the reason it's normal is because the price action is working its way up. As price is pulling back down, what is happening? Positions are being closed, positions are being exited. Remember, it's market. Okay, so this is not passive. This is not limit orders. This is market. Okay, so that's what you're starting to see. So positions are being closed. And that's very important. And that is very logical. Why? If you've taken a long position, think about it from a trading aspect or a trader's thought process here. If you took a long position and you see it starts to pull back and you're concerned that it may break, to the downside, what do you might be doing? You could be, as retail, locking in the profits, right? locking in your position before, you know, it ultimately comes back to where you started. That's a mental aspect of this that happens, that it kind of will scare you out of a position sometimes when you start to see the price pull back. You're like, oh, shit, close it. I'm taking the profit. Live to fight another day. I'll take my single, right? Very rational. All right. That being said, though, coming down, we got the liquidity, we got high volume, we got moving average, we got the weekly pivot. All right. So there's a lot of confluence there. I held myself. I almost said a bad word. I almost said a naughty word. There's a lot of confluence down here. So having that liquidity off the table, and this is why I wouldn't take this one right here in the middle, because I know that there's so much liquidity below me. So I'm not going to leave myself exposed to that. And we've talked about this a little bit, and this is kind of the common thing where you see people get tripped up a little bit, right? You have this area, you're like, oh, this has got to be support, right? It's got to test the high of the range, and it may. And sometimes I get left behind in trades. However, I don't think that it's your higher probability play. Your higher probability play is here, and I want to harp on that, okay? So the higher probability is around 78K for a multitude of reasons, a lot of it being confluence. And once that liquidity is off the table, you get that liquidity off the table, that opens you back up. And so that's where we start looking at, okay, what's next? All right, you see the buying pressure coming in. Again, you're gonna see a little bit of a wick, not an impulse move through. If you see the wick and you start looking at open interest and CBD, again, you want the trifecta. Now, when I say that, you want open interest going up, you want CBD going up, and you want price action going up. That's your trigger. Okay, so you've identified your level. You've gotten the reaction that you want, right? Getting a little bit of a wick, see that buying pressure coming in. That's what you're going to see first, honestly. Like your CBD and your open interest, you would love to say that it's going to be like forward, like it's still a little bit lagging in a sense, unless you have divergence. And divergence is lovely because, yeah, then you can kind of get ahead of price action a little bit then. But in this case, I mean, you're more likely to see a little momentary blip in the CBD and a continuation up. So actually in this case, you may actually have a little bit of divergence, to be perfectly frank with you, knowing that right now the CBD and the open interest were more or less trending up, especially if you go anything over the smaller time frame, you start getting into the hourly, the 4 hour, all of that's all trending to the upside. Okay, it's not till you get to the lower time frames, like when I'm talking about 5 minute, 1 minute below, that you might start to see, a lower low in terms of what the CBD and the open interest is doing. But anyways, that's what I would be looking for. Let's go over the chat real quick. I see some homies in the chat. I want to say what's up to everybody. Whew. I got on a little trip there quick. Let's say what's up. So we got Rashad in the house. What up to you? We got my man Ada Ace. He said hit that like button. We got Scar Jesco. Good afternoon to you. Hope all is well. Steve Hickey, my man. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated. Wayne C. Ayo. How you doing, bro? Scrolling. Ada Ace. What do you say? All right. I'm in a 42 position neutral grid bot. You're always doing some craziness, man. You're always doing some craziness. I don't mess with grid bots. I mean, I've put like very low capital in them, but I don't really typically mess with those because you can get caught in a trade, and that's scary. My buddy was caught in a trade for like months, dude. He did get out of it, but he was caught. He was caught for a minute. We got Alexandra G in the house. How you doing, lady? Good to see you. She is the mod queen herself. Who else we got? Scrolling down. B-Team Crypto, he said he's lurking. My man. All right. Let's go ahead and keep this party going. I think I got everybody in the chat there. Let's look at USDT dominance. I think you guys are doing good on your daily Degen right now. We can go back and check on that. What are you guys up right now? 10.43%? You're getting close to closing out there on the daily Degen. There's hope. Not bad. 10.42%. We'll see if that holds. Still a little fib. I know I'm not supposed to do any TA. Just want to look. Yeah, you're already down under the 0.786. There's hope for that one. Cool. All right, let's go back to where we were. USDT dominance. Let's take a quick look-see at that. All right. Yep, we talked about that. Maybe pushing up, hitting a little resistance, coming back down. Sure enough. Didn't go all the way up to where I was anticipating, though. I'll be real. I'll own that. But you keep testing this area down here. All right. So what you guys are seeing right now, if you're seeing kind of this lighter bluish box down here, this is actually a Market Reaper Pro. This is something that I've developed myself, and I've been using it. It's essentially an order block, right? We know where the liquidity is, and damn if it didn't mark it out, right? Got a nice little bounce out of there. But that's kind of the area that you're going to be looking to hold in terms of support for USDT dominance. Now, when I say that, let's get rid of the, we don't need these pivots on USDT dominance. That's banana land. Let's see. Pivots. Where are you? I need to make that a little bit. Oh, there we go. I gotta turn them off each individually. I'm gonna have to update that. We need just a one click. All right, cool. So we get the pivots off there. Clean that up just a little bit. You are under, oh man, you are under a high volume area node right now in terms of USDT dominance, under the moving averages as well. So that's gonna suppress it a little bit, right? You know, you got resistance to the top side. That is good news. Understanding the inverse correlation between USDT dominance as well as Bitcoin staying underneath of that level at 7.4, we'll call it 7.38, anywhere in that area. Staying. Whew, words, struggles. All right, so staying under that level is good. All right, because if you have the resistance there, then that my friends is good news for Bitcoin if you want it to go up. And if you break, I mean, I think you still got a little something down here, but the trend is going down. There's no doubt about that. That's good news. But you got a little spot right here. But if you do break below here, that's good. To see a continuation for USDT dominance to the downside is actually good because of the inverse correlation. So I would say keep an eye on two levels here. Really, I'm not overly concerned about this one right here. I would say this is kind of your next like hotspot. Let's go ahead and mark that. I want to mark that on the chart real quick. We'll bring that across, a little shift action. If you guys didn't know that, if you're doing TradingView, quick little shortcut for you. If you're doing if you're drawing a line, a trend line, and you hit shift, it'll actually make it go perfectly straight for you, horizontal, which is nice. So this is the area that I'm going to be looking for a bounce. Okay, so not saying it. I'm disregarding everything in here right now, and it's not saying that it can't bounce off of this area here or this area here, anywhere in that order block. However, I just think that this is a pretty prominent level, right? Right before you get, like right here, there's like no volume. So it's kind of like your last stop where I think you'll see a bounce. And why I say to take that into consideration is if you're in a trade, especially if you're looking at like an intraday type trade, if you're in a swing trade, up to you on how you want to play the game. But if you're in something smaller, maybe scalping or intraday, and you see USDT dominance come down to this level right here at about 6.9, yes, that was planned. Just kidding, it's not. But if you come down to 6.9 there, then I would expect that you see a little bit of a reaction for USDT dominance, and that could be where you start to look at, taking some profit, potentially, closing a trade. And again, this is on, I will say, like intraday and below. All right, just understand that swing trade is a swing trade. You could be looking for bigger and better things. However, to the contrary, if you come down to this level, right, understanding the inverse relationship, this could be where Bitcoin kind of tops out, right? So, and I don't mean like the top, but I just mean maybe for the day, maybe for the trend, maybe for the move. This is where you could see a reversal. And so understanding that USDT dominance is likely to bounce in this area, and you get to maybe a prominent area of resistance for Bitcoin, right? And that's something you want to start thinking about. Where are you in relation to, resistance? And that's something for you to take into consideration. Where's a very logical place that we could see? Right here. So like there's two places on USDT dominance that I'd be looking for. One, this order block, and two right here, where this horizontal level is, like I said, it's 6.97, right? So you have this order block. If you get a little push down, understanding that you could get, potential bounce here, but it's like when you start seeing that confluence between the charts, that's when you start thinking about, okay, like, is this an an area where I need to start thinking about exiting this trade, or maybe getting into a trade based on the confluence that you're seeing between the charts. So let's look at total market cap and see kind of how that lines up. We are getting to a level where I was expecting a little bit of resistance. So this is where, like, great move up. It's very, very bullish right now. This actually, man, this could lead to a pop, man. You are at an area of resistance. So let's get that out of the way. My thought process would be, first thing I would be looking for is, probably a bit of a pullback, but man, you could get a pop. Look at the, I mean, let's bring in some of this price action too. A little bit less, but if you're just looking at this, there's kind of a gap, right? Kind of a gap until you start getting to the bottom of the range here. Yeah, that one little pit stop down, breakdown retest or breakout retest, continuation. But really, the volume is all the way up here. All the way back up towards 2.9 to 3 is where you really start hitting that volume again. So there's a bit of a gap. This is kind of like, you got a little pit stop here, but it's a nice gap. Nice gap in volume. And that could create a pretty nice move. But again, you're at kind of your first little pit stop here in terms of looking at this resistance. Right now, ultimately though, looking at the price action or looking at the structure, I would lean towards still rather bullish. Still rather bullish. Just understanding that where you're at, from a, I would say kind of a technical perspective, but that's because I am big on horizontal areas and watching the price action and how it reacts. And this kind of cues me in. When you get a nice move down, you range, very clear resistance, and then a nice breakdown again, that just lets me key in on this level to let me know that, hey, this was pretty important, and this one in particular is important. And where you at right now? Well, that's where you're at right now. So understanding that first things first, you got to break the resistance. You must break. Now, if you break, let's put that up there again, and you get yourself a nice little move up, breakout, retest, then you're looking for ultimately, I mean, you're going to have some pit stops in here, but what I mean, overall, I would expect the move to go all the way back up to 2.9. That would be my expectation. Obviously, pit stops, ranging, movement, not movement, but probably, a little bit of sideways action, up above this level. But this is just kind of some forward, I don't know, a thought process that's kind of looking out a little bit more. All right, cool. Let's go back over. We got David in the house. What up, man? Dave B, how you doing, man? I've been watching Total 3 and VIX. I have not. Be honest with you. I'm be real with you. I've been really busy. That's keeping it real. Been very busy. We can get rid of that. It's plugging up the chart at this point. Cool. Now, let's look at ETH. See what you're looking at there. Interesting. Lower highs. So you had one nice little push up there, but it's lower highs for ETH. Let's look at Bitcoin real quick. I just want to see. So it's different. Higher highs. Maybe not that one. But you can see the difference. Bitcoin looking a little stronger right now than ETH. What I do like about ETH, it's very, very clear. I mean, look at this, man. I think it got a little bit more bullish quicker than Bitcoin. Just because you had this very clear range. It's well above the range. All right, so it is very well established above the range. Do like that. Let's see here. Came all the way down to the points 887. So it fell right in the platinum pocket when it was ranging. Now we're pushing up. Let's see here. Let's go on the daily. Let's see here. Yeah, so you have two very defined ranges above you right now. That's actually very, very logical to see some sort of resistance based on got a range, got a very, very clear range there, right? So a lot of volume in that area. and then you're struggling with it a bit with resistance. But what you would love to see for Ethereum is if you reestablish these ranges that we've seen previously, this one and this one. So this one is what, July, May-ish, 25. What was this one? 24. It was in there for quite a while. But if you reestablish really kind of within where these ranges were, that's a good sign. And I think that's going to be very playable in terms of trades. This is going to be a big line in the sand for you. See where this green, let me see if I can, I'm going to try really hard to see if I can drag that out. Of course, I put the arrow like right on top of it. But this, I think, is going to be a pretty big line in the sand for us in terms of looking at the price action. Do I have this locked? I do. I wonder it's not going. All right, let's bring that out. We'll lock it again. But that right there, we talked about that ad nauseum in terms of look at how distinct this price action is around that. So I do think that you're going to have the ability to play a range here. So I would mark this out on your charts. And when I say that, I would say, hey, just put a little box. Might have to change this up a little bit. Let's change the colors. Blue will not do. Can I get an outline? There you go. And then let's get rid of the blue here. Let's just make it completely opaque. All right, cool. I'm marking that. And why I'm marking that is because I see that as a pretty realistic range where we could probably make some trades. I think you're going to get stuck in there. So where is that range? Let's talk about that. Right now I'm kind of developing an order block. I mean, you can see bottoms of those ranges. So you're sitting somewhere like 24. Let's just call it 24. So bottom 24, top ish, you're looking at about 28. So 28 to 24 really looks like an area that we might be able to play within. Okay, I would say look for that. Why? This area right here, this is going to be resistance. I would say high probability that plays out as resistance. Not saying that it, ultimately is going to push the price back down. I don't know that will happen, but I do think that you're going to hit your head on that a couple times. And so that opens up the door. If you're looking at getting ahead of the price action, knowing that 2,800 is going to be a pretty big line in the sand, there might be some opportunities to get some shorts, knowing how key this level is, and then flipping it into support, right? So if it does break through at some point, that opens up the door for what? Like then you're looking for longs out of that area, right? So really, that's kind of your line in the sand. That's where your narrative really changes. For me, especially on Ethereum. So a little different than Bitcoin, but we've already played that game on Bitcoin. So is this going to be like how it used to be? Bitcoin has its big line in the sand that it flirts with for so long. It finally gets above it, it breaks above, and it ranges, and then it's time to play the game with Ethereum. Because that's how it used to be. If you guys have been around for a while, Bitcoin would move, Ethereum would move, the rest of altcoins would move. That's just that was the logical flow. So, that would be something that I'd be looking for here. So again, 24 to 2,800 is an area I would be looking at marking on your charts at least, just because, the price action has already spoken in my mind. And this avoids not even looking at open interest, CBD, and any of that stuff. That'll kind of be the trigger as you push back up, to these ranges. Like if you get the trigger where you're saying, hey, open interest is aligning with you and CBD is aligning with your narrative or your bias, thinking about taking a short, there you go. That could be enough to pull a trigger there. Or to open a trade, we'll say. Yeah, this is the daily too. So that becomes even more important in my mind. All right, that's Ethereum. We got FJ trading in the house. What up to you, bro? Good to see you. I'm in a few stocks, only watching crypto. House of Trades is in the house. What up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. All right. let's look at, so one of the things I'm thinking about doing, guys, is a little bit more emphasis on some of the traditional markets. Now, those people have probably already checked out. Let's be real. If I didn't cover them up front, they're probably so checked out. They're like, oh, this is a crypto bro, and they've moved on. That being said, this level, we've been talking about it, I feel like, for months. Hasn't really changed much for me. But you have kind of opened up the door for this level right here, where you see the moving average, as well as this high volume area node. It's very super distinct. So if you get any kind of crazy pullback in the market, like some kind of news-based pullback, which you see a lot of here, more so as of late, man, you got a high volume area node, got the moving average pushing up, which it has been relatively respecting. This is on the daily too. Yo, let me show you how fire this is though, by the way. Again, this is my stuff that I've been working on. Thank God for AI. But this moving average, pretty fire, dude. Pretty fire. Got the flip there. That's 57%. Got the flip there. Looks like that's where it's at. 5%. Flip again. 2%. Not going to do the downsies. This one looks like it might. Yep. Nope. That's still 2.5%. But it's these big moves, right? These are the big moves is where it really shines. It's a trend. It's a trend catching machine, bro. It's nothing more than a moving average based indicator. Nothing special. Anyone can do it, but I think I might have done it pretty well. Here you go. That's only 1%, but right, see, these are the ones right here. And this is just playing the long game, right? No shorts, just the long game. Because when you're talking about the NASDAQ and the S&P, the trend is relatively up. But the cool thing is, if the market turns and starts to go down, you're out. You're out. And that's okay. And you don't lose much when you're in, right? Let's say that you sold here. That was another 2%, 2.5% move. And I'll give you a little trick there. But then you got back in. So look where you're getting in. Right here. Look where you got out. Right here. You're not giving up anything. Actually, we'll measure it to the close there. So 1%. So here's, I guess you are giving up some in terms of, hey, like there's gains. You're gonna have to pay taxes as a trader. So yes, you are giving up a little bit. So let's acknowledge that, okay? However, if the market really did turn, again, I think the big thing is you're really preserving some capital, and that's important, right? Like you never know what's gonna happen. You never know when there's gonna be something that pulls the market down, and the market will move dramatically pretty quickly. All right, it's on record. There's times where it's pretty dramatic and it's pretty quick. Like right here, you know, this is the whole tariff fiasco, right? That went all the way down, 20% in the matter of a month. However, you get back in, so you have that peace of mind. And the peace of mind is important, right? So like you got out, that's where you get back in, 5% difference. So it's one of those things. Like I said, it's a trend catching monster. But anyways, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with this whole package. I don't know if I'm just gonna be completely free or what. I'm still trying to work through that. But anyways, I would say, hey, take a quick look at this area here where your high volume node is. That's about 68. I would say really concentrate more on the 0.382. Right, just looking for the confluence where you got the volume, you got the moving average. I mean, and the 0.382. Right, so you got confluence there at about 69. I think that'd be a nice little area to look for a bounce there. Right, so if at some point pulls back, look for the bounce. That's an area that I would be concentrating on for a bounce, at least for the NASDAQ. Or was this the NASDAQ? This is S&P 500. Sorry about that. S&P 500. My bad if I said it was the NASDAQ. Let's see. If though, let's say you want to trade the NASDAQ, I think I've told you this before, but here's a way. There's like a leverage play on it, right? Especially if you're looking at using kind of this strategy where you're really just playing the moving average turn. There's a leverage play. I believe it's 2 or 3x. Could be more. Let me see here. I actually don't think it actually says on, but it's like TQQQ, I believe. Yeah, here it is. So there you go. So this is a leverage play. And so TQQQ, that is weird. It doesn't play nice with this one, even though you wouldn't use this as like your baseline. Interesting enough, but I know where it would turn on. Oh, that's because this is the NASDAQ. Never mind. Whew. I was like, what is it? What is this doing? It's still not turning. I'm gonna have to look at that. Why that's acting wonky. So there you go. This is why we haven't released it to the public yet, because you always find little bugs. But let's just, for funsies, let's do a measurement here. You know that it would flip right here, obviously, and then you would get out about right here. 40%. 40%. That's bananas. So it's like it's a way of using leverage, right? So now we're starting to think about, okay, if you're playing with short-term capital gains and you're going to have to pay, you know, a tax on that, you know, how do you exponentially increase your earnings to then cover, you know, that tax? This might be a way to do it. Might be a way to do it. Anyways, so that is the TQQQ, and then you can short as well. If you're into that kind of thing, I wouldn't recommend it for what I'm talking about right now. So I'm gonna have to tweak this. I don't know why it's not acting right. Because even that doesn't look like it's changing. It just, something with this price action doesn't bode well. Let's go to the actual NASDAQ. There you go. So that one takes just fine. Well, actually, yeah, so again, you can see where it like crosses down. Let's actually do this though. Hold on, I want to see what the TQQQ is in terms of leverage. I can't remember if it's 3x or 5x. Let's just look that up real quick. TQQQ, leverage. It's a 3x, perfect. Good to know. All right, so it's a 3x, so let's do this. Let's go from here, flip to, there, 25. So there you go. That's 25 on its own. Now, if you're 3x leverage, that's a freaking trade there, bro. That's a trade. And you're not really worried about getting liquidated. So, therefore, your boy, I think I'm gonna start looking at trading some other things. Because if I can get 75% on a trade, doing something so damn simple, sign me up. Sign me up for that. You mean I don't have to stare at the charts all day? I ain't mad at that. Stocks are so much easier to trade, and you can do it with higher leverage more confidently as well. But there isn't as much movement in major stocks like there is in crypto. Less risk. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. But like looking at this and using TQQQ, where it's a leverage 3x play, and it's freaking simple. Simple. We're over here struggling in crypto land trying to find these precise setups, and well, you gotta have Confluent in 8 different ways before I'm gonna take my trade and look for my triggers. CVD, OI, not dog. Color flip, trade, TQQ. So I'm gonna start doing that. I'll keep a record of it. That way we can all kind of monitor, you know, how well it works. But yeah, just a small bit of back testing in terms of like, dude, it's insane. Like the returns you're getting it's insane. I can't find something better on crypto right now. I can't. It's easier. It's less risk. It's more predictable. Like, and that's why sometimes I'm like, am I selling myself a little short putting all this time into finding all these setups where I can keep it easy? I can bring the team with me. I can be like, hey, is it? Color flip, it's go time. TQQ, we're in there together. Easy. All right, let's look at Apple real quick. Apple, just pumping. You know they got new leadership, right? Tim Cook stepped down. Stand within that channel, no doubt. No doubt. Let's get rid of that. Came down pretty close to the platinum. Came really all the way down to the order block there. The 0.382 bullish continuation. Wins again. We did have a little descending level of resistance there. It broke through to the top side. Surprisingly, you don't see that as often. I'm going to be honest with you. I would expected a continuation to push down back to these levels. Full transparency, but you know they've made a lot of announcements. They've you know, some of the products, like their own chips are crushing it, dude. The M5 and whatever they're at now, their own silicon, when they've left from or transitioned away from Intel, it's so good. Like I have a Mac, I use a Mac, right? I'm on a Mac M1 Pro. M1 Pro. You should see all the shit that I'm running right now. Excuse my French. You should see all the stuff I'm running right now at the same time and like not a hiccup. Like I got music going, I got chats going, I got software going, I'm live streaming, and this puppy is purring. Purring. I don't even have a lot of RAM. I think I got like 16 gigs. That's like nothing now. All right. Let's keep it going. Anyways, iPhones I think are still dominating too. Like pretty much everyone has an iPhone. You get mad at people when they don't have a blue bubble. Come on. Come on. You know you've done it before. You got a group chat and there's that one dude that doesn't have an iPhone and he ruins the whole group chat. Damn green bubble. All right. Let's look at coin. Let's look at coin. Okay. Riding an ascending level of support. Got it. Came down to the golden pocket. Got it. Pushing. I mean, looking bullish. If Bitcoin's looking bullish, this is looking bullish. And you had a buy zone here. You're welcome. What was I looking for here? If it were to push down. So if it were to push down, coming down to the 0.786, yeah, I would have taken a long if you were to push down to the 0.786. Just looking at some of the horizontal price action right there. So I'll leave that there. No bigs. But yeah, I would have taken a position there, no doubt about it. So right now, looking bullish though. Ping-ponging around, ascending level support, horizontal resistance. What's it more likely to do? You guys know. It's more likely to break to the upside. So that's looking good right now for coin. Let's go to micro strategies. I think that had a nice move. Okay. Okay. Yep, came down to the 0.786. And this previous range right here. So I remember talking about that quite a bit. This previous range right here, and I was like, hey, if you get into that range and it's bouncing around in there, that could be the time where you start thinking about a position on micro strategies. Micro strategies, man, that thing moves and it moves quick, but you got to be very, very careful of it. For me, just understanding that that's Jesus, 58%. Understanding that company is still a company, and that's what scares me. It's still a company. Right, so it's not just invested in Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has a huge influence on the price action itself. But what happens if something happens to the company? That's where it gets weird for me. So that's where I'm like, eh. So I mean, it's pretty subject to Bitcoin's price, but at the same time, like, I have a hard time investing in it, to be honest with you. I think it's risky. I think it's very risky. All right, looking at Tesla, we were looking for a bounce here. Did fall down just a little bit further down. Hit this order block, high volume area again for the win. I'm telling you, I love, dude. I was gonna add VR VP to the Market Reaper Pro, but it does make it a little bit weighty in terms of the code and the complexity. So just add VR VP to your charts. For the love that are all things holy, please add VR VP. This one right here. It's free. Visible range volume profile. If you are trading, if you are a trader, I really, really think you should add it to your charts. Because I can't tell you how many times That is exactly where price reacts, is where you have a high volume node. What is that? See this extension of volume right here? That's what I'm talking about. And then when you get confluence, if you get a Fibonacci retracement level, a nice horizontal, whatever the case may be, when you get confluence, fire. It's fire. Order blocks, liquidity, whatever the case may be. If you get confluence with that high volume area node, your probabilities are definitely higher to see a price reaction. Confirmed. Higher. And that's the name of the game. If you can take something, if you can take a statistical probability and skew it in your favor, I mean, that's mostly what you're doing when you're trying to trade. It's mostly what you're trying to do, right? Like, it's a little bit of betting. It's a little bit of gambling. A little bit. You're just trying to do it smarter than the rest. And when you can take a statistical probability and know that it's in your favor, you can't do that when you're actually gambling. You can't do that playing blackjack. You can't do that playing, roulette. Because it's always in the house's favor. And I'd say even trading a little bit is mostly in the house's favor. But there are things out there that are worth your while. There are. And understanding liquidity, worth your while. Volume, understanding where that's at, worth your while. Being able to understand trends and structure. Some people trade trends only. Crypto Crank. Really, really good at trading, scalp trading, but trading the trend, staying within the structure of the move, right? Alex is able to tie all of that stuff in when he scalps. He's phenomenal as well. But for me, I'm not on every day. I can't watch the charts every day. So I need to find a different way. And that's why, I appeal to those that are more 9 to 5. You got a family, you got a job, you got things going on. You can't just sit there and stare at the computer. It's not an option for you. So therefore, I try to find those high probability areas where that you're likely to see price action. And then you set those alerts. And so when you're doing whatever you're doing throughout the day, your investment in looking at the computer is rather minimal. You get the alert, you're like, oh shit, let me look. All right, what's the open interest doing? What's the CBD doing? Okay, cool. This aligns. This is looking good. We get a nice little wick there. Good. We can probably get a little bounce. A little bounce-a-roo. Here's your next level. Here's where I'm gonna take profit in, out, win, bam, bam. Thank you, man. I hit a single. My boy just hit a triple while he's playing baseball. We're all playing the game. So that's my thing. That's my thing. Where we at right now? 12:28. Got a couple minutes. Let's go and wrap that up. I think we've done enough for the day. I think we've done enough today. We've looked at some TradeFly. We looked at some NASDAQ. Like I said, I'm gonna work on this indicator a little bit more because I want to bring that to you guys. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about that yet. One last thing. See this down here? Trend Reaper. Yo. This could be a lot of fun. This could be a lot of fun. I'll give it one quick little shill here. It's not even released. It's not even a shill because you can't have it yet. But this thing is pretty dope. Look at this. Look at this here. All right, see this diamond? All right, boom, reverse, whoop, reverse, like boop. Look. There's more to it, all right? And I can teach you that part of it. But on something like the 5-minute, this thing is pretty stupid. I would say right now it's sitting between I would say about a 55% hit rate on a 1.5 RR return. This is one of those things that it might just be fire and forget. Take a small amount of capital, say, hey, I got $100, and hook up the webhooks to your exchange, and just let that thing go. Just let that thing go. A couple things will happen with that when you let that thing go. Well, we gotta do some more testing on it, one. But, one of the big things with exchanges is volume, right? So if you're trading a lot and you're pushing volume through, They really, really like that. You get bonuses, you get cash, you get kickbacks. They want you to trade on their exchange. So, taking a little bit of capital and just letting the thing run a little bit, could be something very advantageous in terms of getting some kickback and some money back. The big thing is we got to make sure it's as good as I think it's going to be. And that's really, really important. I'm so invested in you guys and making sure that if I'm giving something to you guys or putting something out there in the world, that it works. All right. I'm not just gonna be like, hey, buy my indicator, or hey, you can have access to it if you use my affiliate link, unless it works. So we're being very, very thorough. I am working with the dev right now. We do have a website that we've designed. We're kind of going through all of that and how we're gonna implement everything. But it's exciting. It is exciting to bring that to you guys. So yeah, that's that. That's what I'm kind of working on in the background. Besides work, I do some other stuff in the background. I promise you. That's one of them. So hopefully everyone enjoyed today's show. As always, like and subscribe if you got anything. Oh, the Daily Degen. The Daily Degen. I heard you want to quit. I ain't no quitter. Let's go to the Daily. Oh, it closed out. Hold up. Sorry. We're gonna go to Daily Degen real quick. Let's see. What's it under? It should be under position history. There you go. You guys won. 11.88% for the Daily Degen. You guys are winners. My dude Alex O Crypto's in the house. My BTC bestie. Dude, I did have FOMO. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta be real. First time I haven't been to the Bitcoin conference in a few years, actually. But work called, man. Duty called. There's things going on in the world. I had to serve, my friend. I had to serve. That being said, though, I do miss you, man. I hope the family is well. Hope you're well. All love to you and the fam. But again, I'm gonna get out of here. Alex, I'll hit you up, man. Hope all is well with you. Like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff that helps the channel. And with that being said, trade safe, be safe. I'm out.
When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.